Alright, moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Tom Hibbert, who asked me to do a Witchblade Cyborg 009 crossover. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the 3rd tier, and go from there. But other than that, let's get started. So like I said, this is Witchblade Cyborg 009. So this crossover, for this one, we're going to have that. Basically, in this story, it starts off with Sarah Pizzini, who is, she's in New York, she's working a case, and essentially what's been going on is that there has been like a string of disappearances that have been going on in New York, and a lot of it is kind of connected to the Black Ghost. Basically, like the war with the faction of Black Ghost, and they're all like, yeah, we're kind of scared that like Black Ghost operatives might be here in New York, so be careful. And eventually Sarah does stumble upon like another kidnapping, and it's for human trafficking to scientists who want to experiment on, shall we say, lesser, through darker means. So Sarah tries to break it up, she goes Witchblade, but it turns out that was the whole thing, was to lure Sarah to them. So now Sarah has been captured and is taken away, and by this time, Sarah is whisked away to by Black Ghost to a offshore laboratory. What does he want? Well, of course he wants the Witchblade. But however, Black Ghost wasn't exactly a expert in this. Well, oh sure, yeah, he's played he's toyed with mystical artifacts in the past, but he hasn't really he doesn't really have a full understanding of the Witchblade, and it's kind of a dangerous artifact. In enters Kenneth Irons, one of Sarah's old enemies, Kenneth Irons, who wants the Witchblade for himself and is working with Black Ghost to remove it and use it for his own means. But Black Ghost wants to use it as, the ultimate weapon. He wants to see if he can replicate the power of the Witchblade. Basically he wants to replicate the power of the Witchblade and use it for, and extrapolate, make a cybernetic version of it, put it to his androids, and, build an army of these. However, when they capture Sarah, unbeknownst to them, Cyborg 009 and 3 come in and rescue her. They basically come in, rescue Sarah, and Black Ghost is like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew those fools were going to come in and take what was mine. They were, they always show up. I was this close, but you know what? I want the Witchblade. I'm going to make sure I get it this time. So sends out androids to hunt them down, and Cyborg 09 and 03 fight them off. But at the same time, there's a bit of a problem. That problem being, Sarah, who's been heavily sedated, wakes up in the middle of this and kind of mistakes, friend from foe, and kind of the Witchblade overrides her thought process, and essentially what happens is that the Witchblade takes over her whole mind and is like, nope, I'm gonna be running this operation for a little bit. So the Witchblade just starts attacking Sarah is now fully possessed by the Witchblade and just starts attacking everyone in sight. So as the Witchblade is just tearing into everybody, just absolutely ripping into everyone, the other Black Ghost agents show up. They finally subdue Sarah again and run off with her. However, 003 chases after them, and 09, who got damaged during the fight, is like, wait, 03, go, don't go off alone. She goes off alone, follows them back to where they're hiding, which is deep in the Russian mountains. And the other cyborg, 09 has to rush back and get the other cyborgs to help, because he's like, yeah, this shit's about to pop off, and we need to go save Sarah and 03, because this is only going to get worse before it gets better. So meanwhile, 03 follows the Black Ghost agents who have captured Sarah, and Black Ghost and Kenneth Irons are there waiting for her, and they're just like, yep, finally, after all these years, finally got the Witchblade, and we're finally going, like, this will be, like, the crowning achievement in warfare, mixing science with magic and making the perfect the perfect weapon out of an already perfect weapon. It's like fine-tuning, fine-tuning Paganini's violin to make it just all the more perfect. And to which they're like, yeah, well, we got to get it off of Sarah's arm. We got to get it off of Bazzini's arm first before we do anything else. So, you got any plans, asshole? You got any ideas, asshole? So, Irons is like, I've tried this before. The Witchblade is going to be very defensive. I've tried to remove it from Sarah when it's unconscious, then the Witchblade will try to protect itself. So we got to basically, watch ourselves because this thing will fight back on us. So, sure enough, they do try to remove it, and the blade comes alive and starts attacking agents left and right. And Irons is trying to warn. He's like, "I told you, you idiot! You couldn't do that. There's got to be a way to maybe you got some arcane magic or something in your repertoire to make it to remove it." And he's like, "I'm sure we could find something. Come on, let's look through your old collection of ancient artifacts and see what we can find." So while they're gone, 03 breaks in and is trying to wake up Sarah, but what happens is the Witchblade starts calling to 03, and 03 is like, I can hear you. What do you need? And the Witchblade's like, look, bond with me, and we will, bond with me, and we'll be able to save everybody. And 03's like, yeah, but I'm a robot, you know that, right? Can you even bond with mechanical objects? And he's like, and the Witchblade's like, it's unknown to me, but you're my as it stands, you and I have the best shot for each other. So what's it gonna be? So that's what that's basically what 03 does. The Witchblade allows detaches itself from Sarah, goes to 03, and we get Cyborg 00 Witchblade. With this now with all the cybernetic implants plus the Witchblade in her, 03 just proceeds to just tear shit apart. She just goes full, I am going to fucking wreck you all. And that's exactly what she does. With all the enhancements and the power of the Witchblade behind her, she just proceeds to, decimate everything in her path. Irons is he sees this and he's just like, well, it's been fun, Ghost. I'm gonna that's my cue to skidoo. Good luck. So Black Ghost tries to fight 03 Witchblade in hand-to-hand combat. He fails and gets damaged. He has to fucking run away. And 03 just proceeds to tear the whole base apart. But in that state, she does say we have to save Sarah. And the Witchblade's like, no, I found the perfect host. You'll never age, you'll never die. We'll be perfect together. And she's like, no, you belong to Sarah. So go back to her. So begrudgingly 03 and the Witchblade go back, save Sarah, and it re-bonds itself to her. By that time, the rest of the other zero cyborgs arrive on the scene, and they find that Sarah is back to normal. 03's with her, and they're like, "Holy crap, what did you do?" And she goes, "Nothing I couldn't handle on my own." And they're like, "Hey, do you need a ride back to New York? Because we can do that." She's like, "Yeah, I would prefer that." And she's like, "Sorry, you got caught in this weirdness." And she's like, "Trust me. Weirdness is nothing. Have you seen my ex-husband? He's a mafia boss who can control a primordial evil entity. This is nothing new." So that's where it ends off with the cyborgs returning Sarah back to New York. So there you go. That is the Witchblade Cyborg 009 crossover. You guys tell me in the comments below what you guys think of it. Once again, I'd like to thank Tom Hibbert for this Patreon request as well as continued patronage. And yeah, You guys let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this. It's kind of fun because this kind of goes in, like, kind of is very reminiscent of the Witchblade Gotcha Man crossover comic. Yep, that was the thing, although it went by the Battle of the Planets, but whatever. Anyway, but other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.